welcome back to the Ziggy Zone. I am back from my Patti LaBelle pie induced coma. Lies. I actually haven't had any. I don't think it's sold in California. But that's neither here nor there. We're here to discuss good old fashioned American football. This last week has been a doozy, I'd say. First, it started out with the defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints, Rob Ryan, being fired. I get that defensively the Saints haven't been doing well, but it's Rob Ryan. I guess perhaps I think he wore out his welcome in New Orleans. I think that he's still very skilled. He's still a very much skilled craftsman. I just think that he can only be with a team for like 3 years or so before it's really time for him to move on and try something new. So I doubt that he'll be on the market long. He may not work the rest of the season, but definitely next season I can see teams vying for him, and he'll probably have, uh, the choices will be plenty. And I, for one, would like for him to consider a job for the San Francisco 49ers. I think the 49ers could use some help in their defensive area. They can use help in their offense as well, but you take what you can get. And when you have a craftsman such as Rob Ryan, you sort of go after him. Though the 49ers also didn't go off after very good coaches that were available. So who knows where he'll be next year? We'll talk about that when that happens. We'll see probably come February or March. And in addition to that, Aldon Smith, former defensive linebacker for the defensive linebacker, former linebacker for the 49ers, and I guess current linebacker for the Raiders. Not really sure. He was suspended for a year, and this is very interesting. I guess I haven't seen the news. I'm thinking that he was convicted of whatever he had been that had been on trial or investigating legally, and I'm thinking that decision came down from the courts, and then the NFL went ahead and made their decision. I mean, he had already been suspended 2 seasons ago. He had a considerable suspension. He had, I think that was like an 8 game, maybe 6 game. He had done counseling. He had already gone through that. So it's interesting to see now that he's being suspended for an entire season, and he's already played. The season is almost over. You talk about there literally 6 games left, so it's about 7 weeks, but about 6 games for most teams now. So I'm like, so does it start from his last game? Like, is he suspended for like a full season, meaning 16 games? Or are they talking about from the point of the suspension a year out? I think that needs to be clear. Because that's interesting. One will want to know, will he ever play in the NFL again? I say yes, because his charges are he has a problem with substance abuse, mainly alcohol. So the drunk driving and things of that nature, when he did the thing drunk on the airplane, that's more federal. But again, I mean, Greg Hardy's playing and he threatened to kill somebody. So, the NFL sort of has, their ceiling with how much they'll deal with. And I guess because Greg Hardy was really a one-time offender, it's okay. And Aldon was a repeat offender, maybe it's not. Who knows? We'll see. Either way it goes, he's out. Rob Ryan's out. Now let's talk about who's in. As of the conclusion of week 10, let's see who we're going to talk about, who at this point will probably win their divisions. We're going to start off with the AFC East, and I'm fairly certain that New England Patriots will win that division. They are currently undefeated, 9-0. Behind them, Buffalo and both Buffalo and New York Jets are 5-4. Miami's 4-5. I don't see any of those teams coming up on New England. For the AFC North, the Cincinnati finally lost, so they're currently 8-1. Pittsburgh is behind them at 6-4. Pittsburgh had a lot of quarterback issues, so I doubt that they're coming in. I think that's pretty sewed up as well. AFC South, now that is a toss-up division. Literally a toss-up. We have the Colts at 4-5, the Texans at 3-5, the Jacksonville Jaguars at 3-6, and the Tennessee Titans at 2-7. I would say that division is just bad. It's bad looking at it on paper. More than likely, Indianapolis will get it. But then again, they're not doing that well. They literally yeah. That's a toss up. We'll probably wait until the final week of action to see who will actually win. Because both Jacksonville and Houston, they both can muster a win occasionally. The AFC West, the Denver Broncos will probably take that one. They're currently sitting at 7-2. Kansas City is behind them at 4-5. That's 9 games. You talk about needing 7 more. My math is off. For 16, 9, 7, 16. If Kansas can go on a bit of a win streak, I'd say that Denver will be in trouble, especially since Peyton has some sort of foot injury. So we'll just see. I think the next 3 weeks will be telling as far as what will happen with the AFC West, especially if Denver can't keep it together. If we move over to the NFC, we will see that the NFC East, again, is another toss-up division. You have sitting at the top of the division, 5-5, the New York Giants. Immediately behind them are the Washington Redskins and the Philadelphia Eagles, both at 4-5. We know who does not have a chance, and that will be your Dallas Cowboys, because they are currently sitting at 2-7. So, yeah, to toss up potentially between the top 3 teams, Dallas, they're done. NFC North. Now, the NFC North took an interesting turn. Minnesota is now, this past week, they were able to secure the number 1 spot. They're sitting at the top of that division at NFC North at 7-2. Green Bay is right behind them at 6-3. The interesting part is that Green Bay and Minnesota, they play this week. So that's really good. Like, what will happen? I don't know. I really don't know. Right now, Minnesota is the lead. I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay go on a win streak. I could see Green Bay taking it, but it's going to be close. This is another down to maybe the last week of who will win that division. Moving down to the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers are surprisingly undefeated. Who knew Carolina was actually that good? I, for one, did not. So we're looking at them at 9-1. The next team behind them are the Atlanta Falcons, 6-3. I'm pretty confident that Carolina is going to be the NFC South, win that division. And then moving on over to the NFC West, Arizona Cardinals are sitting pretty at the top of the division. They're at 7-2. And surprisingly behind them is the Rams. And then after that is the Seahawks. The Seahawks can go on a win streak, but I think that the Cardinals, they're preparing themselves to take top honors in the NFC. So that's that. That's what I think is going to happen as it currently sits. The picture's clear, minus 3 divisions, those that are very close. Now, for my predictions, we'll run those off very quickly. On Thursday night, in the Thursday night Y game, because why are the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars a Thursday night game? I have absolutely no idea. However, I must pick a team. Jacksonville, they won last time I saw. I watched them on television or recaps. And I'm just going to go with Jacksonville. We all know that I like their uniforms. Tennessee and Jacksonville, they're both nothing major to look at, which again, why are they on Thursday night? Who knows? We need to talk to Roger Goodell about that. Jaguars. On Sunday, the Raiders will be at the Lions, and I'm going to give it to the Raiders. Why? They need a hope and a prayer. The Colts will be down in Atlanta over the Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons. I think the Falcons can beat the Colts. The Colts are underperforming. Really underperforming. The Rams are at Baltimore Ravens, and we're going to go with the Rams. Nothing particular about them, just liking the Rams over the Ravens. Tampa Bay will be up at Philly taking on the Eagles, and the Eagles is definitely a better team than the Buccaneers. And besides, no one likes the Buccaneers. The Jets are heading south to take on the Houston Texans, and I have the Texans over the Jets. The Washington Redskins are facing their division rival, the Carolina Panthers. We know that Carolina is currently undefeated at 9-0. They will go 10-0 against the Redskins. Sorry, Washington. The Cowboys are taking on the Dolphins. As we said before, the Cowboys are doing bad, and they will lose to the Dolphins. Next up, another division rival. I guess this is the week of division. No, it's not. It's almost a lot of division rivals here, but it's not a week of division rivals. The Chiefs are taking on the Chargers down in San Diego. Normally, I go for my California love. Unfortunately, the Chiefs are a bit better, so I'm going to give that one to them. This is a showdown. The Packers at the Vikings. This is a battle of the NFC North. And the Packers are falling apart. They are falling apart before our very eyes. And I feel good about Minnesota. But I'm going to go out and say, and I'm doing this live for you all, because I haven't marked it. See, I haven't said anything just yet, if you can see. I'm going to give it to Green Bay. I think Green Bay, losing 2 weeks in a row, they'll pull it together. The 49ers are taking on the Seahawks, and always the home team, so I have the 49ers over the Seahawks. And then the Cincinnati Bengals, they're undefeated. No, I lied. They just lost their first game. They're 8-1. They recently lost, which was very surprising too. It wasn't a game they should have lost, but whatever. And they're taking on the Arizona Cardinals, and I have the Cardinals over the Bengals. I think the Cardinals have a better defense, and so that is Bengals. If a team has a good defense, it appears that they just struggle. So there goes the Cardinals. On Monday, we have the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots in Foxborough. And do we think the Bills can end the Patriots' perfect record? I say yes. I think Buffalo is probably one of a few teams that have the potential to knock off the Patriots. And so I'm going to give that one to Buffalo. So that was that. We talked football today. We gave you a lot in a little bit of time. Be sure to like and share this video. Be sure to share it with your friends. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Talk to me. All of that good stuff. Until next time. Ciao.